Greetings, cinephiles. Are you looking for a movie analysis podcast that stands above the rest? Then look no further than Collateral Cinema, the only movie podcast that matters.
We analyze good movies, we analyze bad movies, and yes, we also analyze the in-betweens of the world of cinema.
So if you like what you hear, find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts.
And yes, my friends, we are 420 friendly. So when you listen to us,
Smoke it if you've got it.
And now, here's a new episode of Collateral Gaming. The show starts right now.
I'm Ashley Chancellor.
I'm Bo Maddox.
I'm Robert Ortegon.
And this is Collateral Gaming Season 7. Welcome to Collateral Gaming, the only video game podcast that matters, where we focus on good games, bad games, and everything else in between in the world of gaming. We are podcasting straight from Texas, and yes, my friends, we are a 420 friendly podcast, so whatever you have, smoke it if you've got it. And welcome to Season 7 of Collateral Gaming. This is our season premiere. We're coming in kind of late, much later than we had planned. This was supposed to come out in September. We still got the spooky month content to get out, but we're here, and I'm really happy to be here. Joining me today is Bo, and also, for the first time in quite a while, Robert from Collateral Cinema. What's up, bros?
Yo, what's going on? Yeah, Collateral Cinema is finally back in the house, pretty much with our full lineup here, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
The three of us.
Yeah, we're here. Yep, here on Collateral
It's
Gaming.
actually nice to guest spot on another show, too.
Hell yeah, man.
Man, I feel like a real actor now, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Hell
It's
yeah.
the first time all three of us have been on a Collateral Gaming episode since, I don't know, probably like the first season.
Something like that. I mean, I could have sworn that we were all on the GoldenEye 64 episode, but I guess
Yeah.
I was
You're
just...
right.
Yeah.
You're right.
I'm not really...
Yeah, we did do GoldenEye.
I mean, I keep up with your show, too, Ash. I'm just not, like, really ever on it, too. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But we're here to talk about the quintessential first-person shooter. And it is actually appropriate to be talking about it in October, I think, because it's actually kind of a horror game. And that is the original 1993 Doom. In part one of our season premiere, we'll be discussing just that game. And then in part two, we're going to be talking about the 2016 reboot. But today we are talking about the original game that launched on MS-DOS, that started it all, that kickstarted the first-person shooter genre, right, guys?
It absolutely did. I mean, it's not necessarily the first in the genre, because, I mean, it was kind of a gradual build up to this particular moment in gaming. You know, I mean,
Well,
3D...
yeah.
I mean, 3D corridor shooters, I mean, those were a thing going back quite a ways, but this was the first one to truly have a really... like a more advanced graphic engine, like it had a more advanced gameplay. Like, I mean, it pretty much like took everything that its predecessors set before it and kind of expanded on it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, even going back to Wolfenstein 3D
There you
from
go.
the same developers, I mean, that was a first-person shooter before Doom, but Doom was the game that popularized the genre. It's the reason why the term first-person shooter exists today, because for a while they were Doom clones.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
Not least of which came from the fact that, you know, this game was shareware and had quite a few mods that have been installed over the years, and also the fact that this game has been ported to everything imaginable, from like video game consoles to household appliances. Later on, I think we'll talk about some of the crazier things that Doom has been ported to. But before we get into that, guys, I kind of want to just talk about the legacy of this game and how it, well, what are your personal experiences with Doom?
I'm the oldest person here, so I was pretty much there when all of this came out, when shareware started to become a huge thing in the PC gaming sphere, and also seeing how much that really revolutionized how games are distributed and everything. Like, I mean, the whole model was, I mean, you pretty much put this out as kind of a free-to-play game, at least like for the first episode, and then you would mail in money to id Software or whatever, and you would buy the actual full game from them, or you would buy another episode from them.
Yeah,
So,
there would be like an ad in like a comic book or a magazine. You'd have to send in for it.
yeah. Or if you finished the episode that you had, it would go to the ending, and then it would tell you to where to actually send in your money and everything. So, I mean, this was kind of the first real form of game distribution that kind of sidestepped the whole console paradigm and really kind of made games a little more accessible to people on the PC platform and whatnot.
That whole mail sending in thing, dude, that brings back a lot of memories.
It does. It really.
I used to like mail in checks to get like Goosebumps stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they would just bring you like, they would send you some books and like, you know, other little pencils or whatever. You know.
Hell yeah.
Man, brings back a lot of memories.
Seriously.
Yeah, I don't have quite as much of a background with this. In fact, I really didn't get into this game until preparing for this podcast. But of course, like anybody else, I was aware of it. I was 100% aware of the legacy, and I've played a lot of games that owe everything to Doom. Unfortunately, we don't have Megan on this episode, who actually picked this game for us. Unfortunately, we just had some scheduling conflicts, and we needed to get this episode out as quickly as possible. Hopefully, Megan, you can join us on part 2 when we talk about the 2016 reboot. That's probably going to be me and her. Yeah, it would be cool to hear her perspective on the game since she's the one that picked it. So you'll have to do with mine, and that is as a new experience. This is one of the few games that I just never really got around to playing up until recently. I had installed it on my Switch maybe a year or two ago and tried it out a little bit, realized it was pretty hard and was going to demand more from me than I was willing to give it at the time. And so I'm glad that we had an opportunity to talk about it on the podcast, because I made it through all 4 episodes of the original game and its the Ultimate Doom expansion. So the original 3 episodes, Knee Deep in the Dead, The Shores of Hell, and Inferno, as well as the 4th episode that was added in Ultimate Doom, Thy Flesh Consumed, which was quite a bit harder than the first 3, let me tell you.
Yeah, I never really played Ultimate Doom. I think I played Final Doom, which is more of like just a straight marathon version of the game. It's not so much episodic. It's just more like 40 some odd levels of Doom, and you just play straight through it. But yeah, I mean the original episode, Knee Deep in the Dead, man, that is like some of the best level design I've ever played in a game of this type, like ever. You know, I mean, and a lot of that was because of John Romero.
Yeah. So we have a team. id Software was founded by John Romero, John Carmack, Adrian Carmack, and John Hall, I believe.
Tom Hall, I think was
Tom Holland. Spider-Man.
Yeah. And man, all 4 of those individuals, I mean, they came together and they just designed quite possibly some of the best level maps ever, you know, and pretty much kind of set the standard for how corridor shooters would work after this, but also how first-person shooter levels would actually work from here on out. So
yeah, because the thing with Doom was it was fast, it was tight, it had metal music blaring all the time. It was something else. You know, there was gore and horror and some just horrific shit as you descend further and further into hell, and all of that is complemented by the level design. You know, like you just run through these corridors blazing fast with, you know, fucking Metallica, Pantera, and other metal bands sound alikes playing.
Yeah. They're approximations of those songs, but yeah, I mean, if you were into '90s metal at the time, I mean, this was kind of a little bit of an ode to that particular era of metal and
like
everything.
The Vulgar Display album just came out, right?
Yeah.
Damn,
Vulgar Display,
I love that album, dude.
I think Countdown to Extinction, Megadeth's album came out around that time. Slayer's. I think either South of Heaven or Rain and Blood was coming out around this time, I think.
Freaking Metallica was number 1 in the charts. Pantera was number 2.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Shit.
So, yeah, I mean, that is completely paid homage to in the music here. And I love the old school MIDI versions of it. I mean, you have like different mixes depending on what platform you're playing it on. Like,
yeah, so I actually played the recent Doom 1 plus Doom 2 port, which was, I actually played the version on Nintendo Switch, but this is on modern consoles. In fact, it was a free upgrade. I was actually genuinely surprised. Yeah. I had Doom on my Nintendo Switch that I had downloaded, maybe a year or two ago, and then just before we were gonna do this episode, I got a notification on my Switch that there was a new version out that was Doom plus Doom 2. And it includes not just those 2 games, and including some of the additional levels from like Ultimate Doom, Final Doom, but actually some whole new campaigns that were completely original. Other campaigns that have been added through the years. It's a real treat, and the music in this version was phenomenal because it's the tracks I think as they were meant to be heard. It's not like the MIDI versions of them, but re-recorded, remastered tracks. That sound, just like metal. And yeah, I mean, when I say that these are sound-alikes of some of the popular metal bands at the time, I mean, some of them definitely feel inspired by it, but if you go listen to some of the comparisons, I mean, they sound almost exactly the same. It was definitely meant to be that. They just didn't have the licensing for it. So
it kind of makes you wonder what would have happened if they could have gotten the licensing for all these great songs and actually had the like CD quality sound playing instead of the MIDI.
Someone has probably modded that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have. I mean, yeah, with the way that the modding community is for this game, yeah, they probably found some way to have the original licensed music in this game. So yeah.
There wasn't any Megadeth in there, was there?
No, there was.
There was? Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Like one of their good songs.
I'm pretty sure, like maybe Symphony of Destruction.
Of Destruction.
You take a mortal man. You put him in control.
Watch him become a god.
Oh my god.
But,
Too bad he can't play guitar.
Like you were saying, the level design is really, really awesome here. Each level just kind of has a different structure, a labyrinthian structure that as you descend further and further into the chaos, and some levels are easier than others, and sometimes you're going to run into a room and the lights are going to come off and they're going to throw a dozen demons at you. Or in other cases, you're going to be running and constantly opening up the map to see, if you could find where you find that yellow access card key so you can open the door. And there's so many different secrets and little bonuses that can be found in every single level that in corners that you may not think to look in. You might walk forward to this area of the map and then backtrack and find that suddenly there's a platform that wasn't there before, or let me just check this random wall and see if there's a hidden door. Oh shit! And find some crazy power-ups or weapons.
It actually kind of pays to go around hitting the action button on certain textures and certain walls and everything, because you never know what you're going to find. I mean, my playthrough this last time around, I was finding secrets that I never even came across when I was originally playing the game back in the 90s. So it's like, I mean, it almost feels like there's always something new that you can find in this game, even all these years later.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's always something new every time you play the level, and several different game modes, difficulty levels to play through. I usually play games for the first time on, the normal or medium difficulty, and then increase it with each playthrough. And let me tell you, I also tried out the nightmare mode and the ultra nightmare mode, and oh man.
Oh yeah, they I think they kind of up the enemy count a little bit. They up their AI a little bit. It's man, the nightmare mode is insane though. But if you're like me, if you're a denizen of gaming in the 90s, you know that this game has some of the best cheats ever. Like this was even the first game that really did no clip. Like you could put in a code to no clip through the maps and everything. And, and also, I mean, this was also what established like God mode and, the get everything. Like you could put in a code to have an infinite radiation suit or infinite chemical suit and whatnot, infinite heat resistance, or be in berserker mode the whole time, Berserker! Like I mean, those were kind of legendary in their own right. And, if you had already played through the game and you wanted to kind of get more out of it, like maybe you wanted to kind of hunt for secrets, I mean, that was a good way to do it. It added some real replay value to the game as opposed to, I mean, and yeah, if you were a newbie, you could put it in the run through the game, but I don't really recommend that. It's
no cheat codes, right?
No.
Nah.
You should absolutely go through the game just raw for first time through, and then if you can make it through, then if you want to really kind of complete the game, then put on God mode and maybe put in the get everything code at the beginning of each level and just go around looking for, go around exploring. This has always been a game that really rewards a little bit of exploration. Like especially if you really want to get like a high kill rate, or if you want to be like 100% the secrets and everything.
Definitely.
I mean, that's what was really cool. Once again, going back to the level design, it really rewards you kind of, looking everywhere,
Yes, it really does, and you can find some things that'll help you through later levels if you take the time to explore, and then there are so many things that I was like, wow, if I had known that this was here the first time I played through this level, because, I mean, there are parts of the game where if you don't manage your resources well, you really have to struggle, and you might run out of ammo and not really have a lot of powerful weapons to use. Also, if you die on a level and you don't have a save that you can reload, you start every level from square one again, and every episode starts from square one regardless. So there can definitely be a challenge, and I think that's integral to your first playthrough is dealing with the scarce resources at times. But if you take your time and maybe go back and like replay a level and you can or start and like replay the episode if need be, you can go through each level in a way that conserves that ammunition better. You can find more weapons and ammunition in places you didn't think to look before, and that'll come in handy once you get to those boss encounters, because let me tell you, I mean, you get thrown into the final boss level of each episode. That's a hell of a time. I mean, and at the end of Knee Deep in the Dead, you come across the two Hell Knights, who I think are nicknamed the Bruiser Brothers.
Oh man, that particular boss battle has always been an issue for me, because I mean, not only do you have to pretty much take them on head on at first, but you have all that lava around you. So I mean, you're going to lose a lot of health. I mean, no matter what you do there. So I mean, you've really just got to kind of find the right angle to kind of take them on without while evading their energy blast and everything. So that one,
you need a good gun. There's no way around that.
Definitely, you at least need the chain gun, if not the plasma gun. Maybe a rocket launcher if you can get a beat on them long enough. The thing about them is that they're very quick. Very quick on their feet. So, I mean, it's very, very easy for those two to really overwhelm you really quickly. So, you got to be really on your toes, like quick on your feet, and just kind of make sure that you make your hits count,
And then Hell Knights will make a recurring appearance as just regular enemies in the later episodes.
I love that.
As you move on to harder bosses, I mean, Shores of Hell ends with the fight against the Cyber Demon.
Ooh, Cyber Demon.
That level is designed around the rocket launcher. He's firing rockets at you. There's all these rockets laying around. Unlike the Hell Knight level where you can be fucked if you don't come in with a good gun, that one at least gives it to you. You know, it's like, okay. But if you can manage to come in with the fucking, plasma gun, or I don't know if the BFG was in the second episode
I think it was. I think you could find it in a secret area in that particular level before somewhere.
Yeah, I think you might be right. So that's going to be useful, and then of course there's the fucking spider demon or the spider mastermind or whatever it's called at the end of Inferno that you're going to want to bring the big fucking gun in for.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you kind of really need to blast them with everything that you got. So, yeah, the BFG is going to be and the rocket launcher are going to be your best bets there. Maybe the chain gun, because the cool thing about the chain gun is that it kind of has a staggering effect on your enemies. Like if you're able to, you can actually kind of pin your enemy down a little bit and whittle his health down until he dies.
Yeah. And that thing has a fucking chain gun on itself that's constantly facing you. Let me tell you, I came into that level with very little health left over from the previous level. But if I know if I restarted, that I was going to have to start over with the handgun. And I think that game gives you a rocket launcher and some rockets. But I realized that against this final boss of the original 3 episodes, I was going to need the best equipment the game had to offer. And it gives you a little bit of health, but not a lot. Thank God for quick saves. I was able
Absolutely. Yeah.
I was able to beat it with the help of quick saves and very, very little health. But the remainder of my ammunition and the big fucking gun with a bunch of energy cells.
Yeah. I mean, the other interesting thing about the weaponry in Doom is how I mean they actually really have a interesting balance to them, like they have pros and cons. Like, I mean, you start off with a pistol. I mean, the pistol is very accurate, and I mean, you point at it and you fire at it, it's going to hit, but I mean, it's very limited in its range, it's limited in power. And then of course you have the shotgun, which is going to the shotty, which of course is going to pack a little more punch and it's going to have a little more spread, especially in corridors, but it has a slower rate of fire, and of course, like I said, I mean, you had the aforementioned staggering effect of the chain gun, but I mean, same with the plasma rifle, that tends to kind of go through ammo like it's nothing, like you can go through half of your ammo just on one pinky demon, even if you're not careful enough.
Yeah, so you want to use the right weapons for the right enemies. Save some of those better guns for the harder types of enemies, and also just like you said, using the right guns for the right situations. Of course, there's sort of an ebb and flow to it. You can kind of just shotgun everything if you get really good at that whole shotgun cycle. But
I love that. That's actually my favorite way of going through the game, is with the shotty and just fucking blasting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good way to really clear a room. If you have like multiple enemies, you have pinky demons and imps and shotgunners and all in a room. I mean, the shotgun is a great way to kind of take multiple enemies out at once. So
definitely. So like the shotgun's kind of like my main weapon that I use. The pistol I'll really only use up until I get the shotgun, or if the shotgun's out of ammo in the earlier levels of a chapter. But then when it comes to the bosses or certain types of enemies, I might pull out the chain gun, the plasma rifle, and of course the BFG are going to be reserved for those ultra difficult enemies in the game, or when you're surrounded by a lot of them.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, of course, with the BFG, I mean, it's total overkill depending on what you're doing. I mean, if you have like a bunch of pinkies and maybe some bruisers, it's like, yeah, you're going to want to kind of use that, because it does have that effect of pretty much killing everything that's around the blast radius. sort of. So I mean, like that's good for especially like in Inferno, where you're dealing with a lot more like caco demons. You're dealing with maybe more imps and whatnot.
Yeah, the caco demons are a good use of the plasma rifle, at least.
Absolutely, the plasma rifle. Yeah, it just you can just unload on that and just be done with the caco demon in a few seconds.
You can really stock up on ammo too, if like you said, if you take your time exploring, use the right guns for the right situations, you'll carry over that ammo to the next level, and that can be really helpful and make some of those more difficult encounters a little more bearable. But there's always a challenge.
And there's also the fact that you can actually build up your health and your ammo with health and ammo bonuses, which are all over the place in this game, depending on the difficulty that you play with. But like, I mean, you can build your armor up to about 200%, where I mean you can take some damage without losing a whole lot of health.
Right. And then you can find power-ups like partial invisibility or fucking Berserk, which automatically switches to your fists and lets you punch enemies and make them fucking explode.
Fuck yeah, man. That's a lot of fun. And of course the chainsaw. The chainsaw the chainsaw is especially fun if you're playing in God mode, because I mean you could just get up close to these enemies and you could just like saw them all down.
You know, the chainsaw was my go-to for pinkies, because they'll come up to you.
Yeah, it's another weapon where you can have that staggering effect as well. You know, it's just unfortunately you have to get up really, really fucking close for it to be effective. So I mean, if you're talking about any enemies that have projectiles, I mean they can take care of you pretty easily.
But the pinkies are melee enemies, so they're pretty. The chainsaw is actually pretty effective against them. But if you can manage to get in close to one of the tougher enemies, that can be really useful. You see, I'm watching this playthrough right now, and this is, I think, the first level of Shores of Hell, if I'm not mistaken. And this dude just spawned into a place, and a dozen fucking pinkies started attacking him. After teleporting in.
Yeah, we're watching the demo mode of the original game on PlayStation Classic on the Auto Bleem. This is a version called Crispy Doom, and it's actually based off of the original shareware version of Doom. So it doesn't have the HD mod that a lot of, I think that's called like CZ Doom or something like that, to where they upscale the graphics and everything a little bit. So this version that we're seeing right here, this is closer to the way that I remember Doom looking on old school hardware.
Nice.
You know. So this is closer to the original version. The version that you have on Switch Lite, it's definitely kind of like very much updated. It has that upscaling to it, and it looks great, and it plays great, even though my Switch has joystick lag. But I mean, honestly, I mean, it's kind of nice to see Doom the way that I remember it, you know?
Yeah, dude. My experience with this game was downloading it for the Xbox 360.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just one of those side games that you could just, play through when you got bored playing Halo 3 or Modern Warfare 4.
Yeah. If you just wanted a different experience from something like that, because that was when you started to have the more modern trappings of first-person shooters. You started to have the more milsim stuff and everything.
This game was meant to like keep your skill sharp in first-person shooter to just go back and forth and just play all the shooters just to keep your targeting right on center, really.
Yeah, but it also kind of feels a little arcade-ish, right? It has kind of that Twitch.
Actually,
I
did download the arcade version for the Xbox 360. And bro, it was pretty unique. I think I still have it on my 360 drive.
Nice, hell yeah.
Yeah, I have the Elite. The 360 drive still.
Yeah.
So I just need a fresh 360 so we can play some old shit again.
We could find one of those pretty easily, I think.
Yeah. I mean, one of the cheap ones that were like $99. I mean, you just plug the hard drive to it. It's the same shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a game that's persisted into the modern era. Doom has never stopped being relevant, and that's what's really kind of incredible about it.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
It's a testament to the game design of Romero, the Carmax, and Hall. You know, I mean, and it's crazy. I mean, this was just a small team of developers that managed to pull together this unique world and with this crazy gameplay and this fucking amazing level design and everything. I mean, it was really just these developers just kind of firing in all cylinders, like right at the right time, you know, in the right place.
Timing, plays,
And
everything.
just the whole concept of it is bad shit. It mixes sci-fi and horror. It's a game that's set on the moons of Mars and Mars itself. Where there's experiments going on with a futuristic corporation that fucking is opening portals to hell, and hell starts taking over. And you are a UAC Marine that was sent to one of the moons of Mars because you assaulted a superior for ordering you to fire on unarmed civilians. I mean, how fucking metal is that?
That's metal as fuck, dude.
Just regular fucking Marine is just descending further into hell, seeing all sorts of fucked up shit and dealing with hordes of terrifying monsters and straight up punching them in the face and making them explode while metal is playing.
A big part of that, though, was because what this game was originally going to be, it was going to be a version of Alien, apparently. It was going to be based off of the Alien franchise. So,
Okay.
But that fell through, and instead of the whole, you know, alien species angle and everything, they kept the sci-fi horror thing, but they decided to bring in the more overt satanic imagery and everything, which...
Panic.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, this definitely played a big part of the satanic panic of the 90s as well.
Yeah,
because
it was a huge
I mean,
thing with Columbine and shit.
oh man, we need to talk about that here in a little bit. It's like, yeah, I mean that little bit of infamy here,
Ooh, yeah.
but yeah, it's like, I mean, that's kind of the origins of Doom in its own right, and interestingly enough, not too long after this on PlayStation, they would make a first-person Alien trilogy game. So, I mean, that game would eventually be made, and it would utilize a lot of the mechanics that Doom actually set in stone.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just a crazy fucking experience. I mean, Doom, along with Mortal Kombat, is one of the reasons the ESRB exists.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
And I like how I like how each level just kind of descends further into the each episode descends further into the madness. I mean, you go from one moon to the other to hell itself, and then by the end of the original 3 episodes, you find yourself back on Earth. Everything seems fine, and then all of a sudden you found out that the demons have come to Earth and your pet rabbit's head is impaled on a spike. How metal a fucking ending is that?
Metal as fuck, dude. It's like, god damn it. And then it goes right into Doom 2 and everything, which was another good little expansion of the core gameplay.
Yeah, and then there's Thy Flesh Consumed, which takes place between Doom 1 and 2. Has you going through several levels of just these like areas that are floating above the earth, and it's just kind of I think it's kind of the journey, you know, from where you end up at the end of Doom 1 to Doom 2. and you end up facing a lot of the same enemies, and it is quite a bit harder. I mean, they've assumed that you've played through Doom 1. Hell, the game, the Ultimate Doom expansion was released after Doom 2, so they had a little bit of that in foresight. So, they were able to approach the level design in that way. Now, I still haven't played Doom 2, but God, Thy Flesh Consumed kicked my ass.
Oh yeah, it just ramps up the difficulty to insane levels, and it's like I'm going to tell the truth. I've never really played all the way through Thy Flesh Consumed. I haven't really played through all of it. Dude. So I mean, I've played through it long enough to get my ass totally handed to me, and I encountered it much like I encountered a lot of Doom, was going with my mom to like Office Max or whatever, or to wherever the PC store was, and playing demo versions of this on the demo PCs. Like it was almost always Doom or Doom 2 or something like that was always being demoed on these PCs and whatnot. So. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean that was where I initially kind of first encountered Doom, and then eventually I played the Super Nintendo version, which I mean, I don't know if you've ever played that port. That port is not too great.
Yeah,
honestly.
I watched the Angry Video Game Nerd episode, and he talks about the various ports, and it's actually kind of baffling how many times they tried to recreate the Doom experience on different consoles and failed in, one small way or a few big ways.
Yeah, like you had the original Final Doom on PlayStation, and you had the original Doom and whatnot. And it was ported to 3DO, which was also a total shit port. It was ported to 32X, the Sega 32X, which it was not the worst version of the game, honestly. It got pretty close to, from what I understand, the 3DO version got pretty close to the original PC port, but it just didn't have the music.
And that's kind of interesting because one of the things surrounding the background of Doom was it came about during a time where PCs were struggling to keep up with consoles. That whole like scrolling effect that we had on consoles, was something that the original developers that would go on to form id Software initially struggled with, and back in their early shareware days was taking that scrolling format and porting it to PC, and what they managed to do was take that scrolling effect and throw it into 3 dimensions and do a first-person shooter. And it's actually kind of interesting that none of the consoles managed to emulate that quite as well as the PC did.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but by God, they tried.
and by God, this game has run on just about everything. I mean,
everything. Yes, everything.
You want to talk about some crazy shit? You can play Doom on a pregnancy test. Because why not?
you could play it on a QPOS system at a register.
You could play it on a keyboard key.
A keyboard key. Damn it, dude.
You could play it on gut bacteria.
Fucking shit, dude. Jesus.
You could play Doom on Doom in one of the mods. You could play Doom on 100 pounds of moldy potatoes, on an Apple Watch, on a MacBook Pro Touch Bar, on a fucking calculator, on a single key of a keyboard.
A single key of the keyboard could totally play Doom all the way.
On a camera, an iPod, an ATM.
You're forgetting a Tamagotchi pet.
Oh my God. I mean, I think it was ported to Gamecom back in the day, the Tiger Gamecom. I think that had a version.
It's on Tiger Electronics.
Yes, there is a Tiger Electronics Doom game.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah. There is a chainsaw that you could play Doom on.
What the fuck?
I mean,
that's ridiculous.
It doesn't get more meta than that.
That's ridiculous, man.
You could play it
shit.
on the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. You can play it on a thermostat.
You can play it through. You can play it through the Donkey Kong 64 game through the arcade version.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
right.
Probably.
Right.
I mean, you're playing Mario through the arcade version of that, right?
A parking kiosk. A smart car. Although I don't recommend that while you're
A
driving.
Tesla robot. No, I'm just
Oh, my God.
Nah.
Could you imagine if they run Doom on a Tesla
a
robot?
Tesla iRobot, dude.
Oh, God.
Will Smith's gonna have to shoot him.
Yeah, Will Smith's going to have to kill them all. Like 100%.
Yeah, it's kind of become an in-joke of the gaming community to basically port Doom into, can it run Doom is the question. And almost everything has been tried.
I think even on like Atari, I think they've made a descaled version on Atari of Doom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think they
there's-
have.
Damn.
Yeah, it's ridiculous,
They
man.
thought of everything. Crazy.
I mean, like I said, we have it right here as it actually comes with a download of AutoBleem. So
And that's what's just so great about Doom is that it's ubiquitous, and it was shareware. It was open source. True to id Software's shareware origins, where the developers used to just take games and straight up rip them and port them to PC. That's what they started out doing. I mean, one of the projects that they worked on was taking the 2D side scrolling from the Mario games and ripping a game out of that. I believe it was Adrian Carmack who worked on that, and John Romero urged him to try to sell the idea to Nintendo. So they approached Nintendo and said, "Hey, we've ported Super Mario 3 to the PC. You don't even have to, involve us or whatever. Just pay us for our time." And of course, Nintendo wanted to sell more Nintendo consoles, so
yeah.
They
So
didn't
that
take
was
them
a
up.
no sell. That was a no sell, I'm sure.
But that was the origins of the team that worked on Doom, and so what they did was they made Doom moddable, and to this day, people add mods to this game. Just about anything you can think of, Star Wars, Seinfeld.
Yeah, they actually have. There actually is a infamous horror mod called MyHouse.wad, which apparently is a pretty freaky horror game using the Doom the Doom engine and everything. But we if we're going to get into mods, we should talk about quite possibly some of the most infamous WADs that was ever made. And they were made by a couple of little shits by the name of Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, the Columbine shooters. They actually made they were very, very deep into the WAD community at the time.
They made a video showing what was going to happen before that.
Yeah, they made the
Remember
basement
watching
tapes,
that?
but
Oh my God.
they also made a bunch of Doom WADs, and some of them you can actually they found them and they released them on the internet. I think you can go on itch.io right now and you can download the original WADs that were created by Harris and Klebold. But the one that you can't find because apparently it is sequestered under police custody and everything. Legend has it they did make a WAD map of Columbine to actually plan the attack. So, I mean, that may or may not be true. I think that it has been verified, but it's not amongst the WADs of theirs that you can find. But I mean, yeah, you can 100% find most all of the WADs that Harris and Klebold made back in the 90s online now.
Yeah, it's all there.
Yeah. It was lost media for the longest time, and now they're all available. Other than the more infamous one, they're all available now.
Damn.
Crazy shit, man.
Yeah, I mean, and that just adds to the overall controversy of Doom because Doom was very, very, very deeply scrutinized even more after Columbine.
Yeah, they try to take it to court and pull everything off the shelves too.
Yeah, they
even
did.
then.
I mean, the game was never actually banned, but this almost came close to banning this game. Very close to it.
God damn.
But But it's not like anything that id Software could have controlled because, I mean, it was open source moddable content, you know? I mean, what can you really do there?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean,
a game is not killing people. It's the person that's doing it. Come on.
At the end of the day, yeah.
we're
I'm
talking
like,
about
come on,
some
man.
very fucked up people that happen to be fans of it. And, you know, that's a
They
correlation.
did the same. They did the dude. Oh, I'm sorry. They did the same thing with the music in the '80s.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? They tried taking Iron Maiden to court, Judas Priest to court, Ozzy Osbourne to court.
And that was all pretty much from the same satanic panic that scrutinized this game as well.
And
Yeah,
this
man.
game had
That's
the
that very
balls
same.
to have actual satanic imagery.
Hey, fuck yeah, man! I mean, there's pentagrams all over this. There's a goddamn map that's an entire pentagram. For fuck's sake!
Yes.
I mean, it's like, I mean, that's just something that you have to say. This is one of the most metal video games ever made. I mean, it's metal all the way through and through.
Fuck
You
yeah,
know?
it is.
And you know, I mean, and that's something that, you know, gamers in metal have been a thing for the longest time.
Yeah,
You know?
honestly, it's one of those games where you just sit down with a fat sack of weed, really.
Fuck yeah. It's also one of those early stoner games.
Yeah, just
kind of.
play all night and just get some good KB bud or something. Haven't had that in a while, but I'm
Dude.
sorry, I don't know what that is.
100% though. I mean, you could tell this game was made by a bunch of fucking metalhead nerds, you know?
Absolutely. Fucking absolutely, man.
And I wouldn't be
You know?
surprised if they were smoking pot while they were programming it.
Yeah, this is definitely a stoner video game right here.
Oh, definitely. Like without a shadow of a doubt.
Play it all night and just have a good time.
Hell, I would say that probably a good 420 special for Collateral Gaming would probably be Doom clones. You know?
Yeah, honestly, that would be. That's not
Because
a bad idea for a 420 edition of the bonus round or something.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you right now, if there's one thing that was cloned more than Mortal Kombat, it was Doom. You know, I mean,
no shit. GoldenEye looks like this, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
And there was there was a lot of games that came out in the like on the 3DO and everything, like PO'd and Killing Time, you know, and also games like Duke Nukem and Redneck
Nukem.
Rampage.
We forgot about Duke Nukem, bro.
Yeah, Duke Nukem 3D.
Shit.
I mean, this game laid the groundwork for those games, obviously.
Yeah. In addition to spawning numerous sequels, expansions, and reboots, it also, as I mentioned earlier, popularized the first-person shooter genre and made gaming a viable career for a lot of people. It would not be an understatement to call Doom arguably the most influential video game of all time.
It really is. I mean, it pretty much set the gaming industry on a course for bigger things in so many ways.
It's still got the most downloads, you know?
It does. You know, this is still, I mean, it's one of the most ported and most downloaded games of all time, really, when you really think about it.
Yeah. You need to have this.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doom is one of those things that I think any gamer needs to play. And also, another thing that it invented was the deathmatch.
Absolutely, that's right. Yeah, death matches were a big part of Doom WODs back in the day. It was doing multiplayer matches. So
Yeah, not the first game to
is-
have multiplayer, but the first game where you had 4 players fighting each other to the death. And
Exactly.
and John Romero literally invented the term deathmatch.
Yeah, and just think about what that has led to. I mean, especially with multiplayer online gaming and everything. I mean, you could argue that there wouldn't even be like a Fortnite if it wasn't for the death matches in Doom.
Yeah, I remember
There
playing
wouldn't be a-
Deathmatch on like Halo 2, sorry.
There wouldn't be a Call of Duty. I mean, with the release of Black Ops 6, and
No,
God, that game is
no.
phenomenal. Well, can't wait to talk about it, but that wouldn't exist.
And yeah, like Robert just said, yeah, you wouldn't have the Halo death match, which is pretty much what set the standard for modern death matches nowadays.
The first time I played that,
Yeah.
guys, it was like on Xbox Connect. You had to wait for like everybody to join in. It took you a while to find a game to get into fucking Xbox Connect, you know?
Yeah,
I remember doing that shit.
Damn it, man.
Yeah, I mean, Doom is the reason, that shooters are as popular as there are today, and multiplayer games. It really, gaming as a culture owes it all to this video game. And I guess that's as good a time as any to get into our final thoughts on Doom 1993. Starting with you, Robert.
My final thoughts on this. This game is like one of the originals that you can play all night if you have to, you know what I mean? Like, just sit there with your buddies, maybe just switch off on the controller or whatever,
Or play multiplayer together.
There you go,
Exactly,
multiplayer this thing, and then, like Bo said, this thing leads you into, like, wanting to play more other, like, first person, like, 64 games that are like this, too, almost, right?
Yeah.
And, I don't know, Doom, it always stuck with me. It's, I mean, I didn't pick it up when Bo picked it up. I picked it up later on, like in the 2000s.
Yeah.
But it was always a game that you can always like sharpen your shooting skills, you know what I mean? First person wise, I mean, going back from other shooters,
Definitely.
And, this will hone your craft in for just being like dead on accurate,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, that's my experience with this.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you want to get good at any first-person shooter, play the original Doom.
Yeah, definitely.
As for you, Bo, what are your final thoughts?
Well, first of all, I think that there's one thing that we left out was or a port that we left out. Maybe it's not so much a port, but it's its own game, is Doom 64, which, it's pretty much kind of its own animal. It's its own type of game in its own right,
Yeah, the 64 version, dude. I want to buy it now,
Yeah, they pretty much took the game and they pretty much like just rebuilt it from the ground up for the Nintendo 64 and to take advantage of like that analog stick and everything. So, yeah. I mean, if you ever have a chance to play Doom 64, play that. But as far as this original game right here, it's like we said, this is really, really influential gaming lore here, I mean, this is such a storied game that, I mean, I don't know how much more we really added to the conversation as far as, how important it is, what it means for, like, the gaming industry, like how, this probably led to a lot of people becoming coders and everything, in other ways, outside of gaming. I mean, this really kind of it influenced the culture of PC gaming. I mean, I would say this is probably the origins of PC Master Race lore.
Yeah, this is like cyber cafe shit. I love that stuff, dude.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, just the fact that it was also so accessible. I mean, there was a lot of ports that you could choose from. Not all of them great, So yeah, even if you weren't, even if you didn't have a PC that could run it at the time, I mean, you could find a way to play it. But I mean, nowadays it's so ubiquitous that, like we said, I mean, you can play it on almost anything.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, we're playing the original shareware version right now on Crispy Doom on Auto Bleem on PlayStation Classic. So it's like, it's just so, it's just always kind of been there. You know, I can't really think of gaming culture without it.
Yeah, you can download this emulator to basically anything now.
Yeah, and you can pretty much, and because it's open source, you can pretty much make your own first-person shooter from the Doom engine.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, not just make WADs, but using Doom, you can even make your own enemies and your own characters and whatnot. So, I mean, this opened up so many different creative avenues for gaming that, I mean, it was such a leap forward for PC gaming, for graphics, for overall thematic elements and everything, you know, and it's still to this day, it's very, very of its time, but it still feels fresh as well. You know, like especially with a lot of the upscaling that's been done. Like, I mean, it's just real difficult for me to really put in words how important this game is to me. You know, so Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's important to a lot of people. Doom is, again, arguably the most influential video game of all time, and I'm so glad that I finally got a chance to experience that I got to struggle with it and fight through these difficult hordes of enemies and experience this metal fucking story, to be able to use the big fucking gun on the game's hardest bosses. Doom is, again, an experience that every gamer should have. Anyone that calls themselves a gamer should have. And, by today's standards, it might seem kind of tame, but at the time, this was crazy fucking shit. Honestly, I think it's still pretty wild. I mean, there's imagery in the game like a dude being crucified above a pit of blood and a beating heart. So, I mean, if you take the time to look at these environments, I mean, this fits, well amongst the annals of gaming horror history. But yeah, Doom is just such a metal fucking experience, and I'm so glad I got to experience that. It's a franchise that's going strong. I mean, we just got Doom Eternal a few years ago, and we're looking to the release of Doom The Dark Ages, which is a prequel to the 2016 reboot, I believe, here very soon. So it's a great time to revisit this franchise. It's one of the most accessible video games of all time, if not the most. You can find it on just about any platform or things that aren't platforms as well. So there really
right.
there really is no excuse. It's a fucking experience, man. And I'm excited to get into part 2 where we're going to talk about the 2016 reboot. Megan should be joining me for that. And we can discuss that game and compare it. I've been playing through the levels, and yeah, I mean, it does a really good job of modernizing the whole thing and still feeling like Doom. But there's just this quality to the original 1993 game that keeps it relevant and will continue to keep it relevant. As the Angry Video Game Nerd said, we will probably be playing the game when we go to Mars.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the first person to play Doom on Mars is going to be just a legend. Let's hope it's not Elon Musk.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, stick around for part 2. And also the rest of our Spooky Month content, even if it extends beyond Spooky Month. For sure, we should have out our Halloween special by Halloween Day on Amnesia: The Dark Descent. And later this week, Bo and I will be getting into Parasite Eve, which I started playing and is actually a blast for the Halloween edition of the bonus round. As for our planned October content this month, we're supposed to be getting into the Silent Hill 2 remake. Bo, I'd like to record that with you very soon as well. And if possible, we can get those out before the end of the month. That would be great. If not, if it bleeds into October, fine. I know we'll be doing a 2-part episode on Silent Hill 2. So part 1 will be a spoiler-free review, and then part 2 will be going into full spoilers. And Bo will be joining me for part 1 here very soon.
Oh, yes. I can't wait to dunk on all the Silent Hill fog posting nerds. Fucking degenerate gamer scum.
And that's the end of our horror game content. Also, in early November, I'd like to get out our episode on Black Ops 6. Michael Toscano should be joining me and Zachary for that. I had the opportunity to go visit Zach in Georgia this last weekend. And
Did you have a good time?
Yeah, I had a great time. It was amazing. We got to experience the launch of Black Ops 6. It's a great game, so look forward to our spoiler-free review of Call of Duty Black Ops 6 with, the new movement system and game modes and guns. And honestly, it's the most fun I've had with COD ever. And that's probably not saying a lot because I haven't played a whole lot of COD, but It's a hell of an improvement over Modern Warfare 3, in my opinion. So I'm excited for it. And then next month, our numbered episodes should be Mario and Luigi Brothership. Again, in part 1, we'll be doing our spoiler-free game launch review. And in part 2, we'll get into full spoilers because that's a game that we're super, super excited about.
Yeah, hell yeah. Nice.
So, yep, that's what we have going on over the course of October and November. And, Bo, what's going on with Collateral Cinema?
Well, as of now, all of our spooky content has pretty much been released. We have our season premiere on Terrifier featuring Stu from Stu World Order Productions. So check that out. And we also just released our review of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is amazing,
great
movie.
episode. So tune into that episode.
Fucking awesome episode. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And we recorded our Halloween content with Kaylee from Once Over with Kaylee on YouTube. That should be coming out soon. And also,
great host, by the way. Yep.
Yeah, she's really, really awesome. And also, we did our Terrifier 2 episode not too long ago. So, yeah, look for that here very soon.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that'll be Terrifier 2 will be the Halloween edition of the director's cut.
Yes, that's for the director's cut. Yeah.
Uh-huh. All of that's been recorded, so we should have that out by the end of the month. And then November, I think we're doing Back to the Future and
Street Fighter 94. And the guest host that we have for that on Street Fighter, we have Vern from the Cinema Recall podcast and Jim from Film Rage joining us. Both of them are alumni of the podcast and they're friends of the show, and we are more than happy to have them on that episode. And on Back to the Future, we are going to have Reading Between the Reels with us. They've been good friends with us on Twitter for many years. They've reposted our content, and we've reposted theirs, and we're finally going to have them on the show. So, yeah, look for that coming up in November. And I don't know, maybe... I don't know what new movies are coming out in November. Maybe we can do an At the Movies episode or something.
Can't really think of anything.
We should. We'll have to look it up and see. Because I'd love to do another At the Movies review. Street Fighter 94 movie review, by the way, will be a Collateral Gaming collab because that is a video game movie.
And I am in talks with Robbie Sherman from Conversations with Robbie Sherman about doing a episode with him on one of the Lupin the Third movies. So yeah, look for that on his show coming very soon.
Very cool. And Robert, as our special guest today, do you have anything to plug as far as your filmmaking career?
Actually, it was pretty much an honor to be on the show with you guys. I mean, I wish we need to work together more. I feel like I need to be on the show more now too.
Yeah, play more games and everything.
Yeah.
Come on,
actually,
Collateral Gaming more.
It's always good to work together with each other.
Hell yeah.
Push out more content any way we can. But in the filming wise, I'm still trying to push together a beginning of a script though. I have a little bit of writer's block right now, but
damn it.
Hopefully to move past through that and just collaborate on a script maybe with you guys.
Yeah, but right now we do have Texas Sundown on the Collateral Cinema YouTube. You can find that there's an 11-minute short. It was written by Robert Ortegon, starring Robert and also both of us, and also directed pretty much by all of us and everything. So
Ashley Chancellor's my co-star, second lead. So there's a future there.
Yeah, I am.
There's a future there for that second lead.
So check that out, and they're also Killing Night. That's out there somewhere.
Yeah. Wherever you get your YouTube. No, sorry.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for wherever you're getting your YouTube, that's a great short film to watch during the spooky season. So if you're checking this episode out before Halloween, then that's some great fucking content for the season.
Hell yeah.
But you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. We are on most social media platforms as well. We do have a Patreon. It hasn't been updated in forever, but It's there. You can also check out our merch store on TeePublic and get you some Collateral Media swag. Very soon, I think Bo should get the Collateral Let's Play content started back up again. So stick around for that and check out what I think you're going to do a Phoenix Wright playthrough. And
Ooh, yeah.
you have
That's right. Objection.
Beat 'em up Fridays.
I don't know. I'll probably get back to beat 'em up Fridays pretty soon. I took a break from it because I don't know. Those games were starting to kind of blend together a little bit.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I'll be getting back to that very soon. That's still fun content to get into.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I mean, I've been just struggling to get most of this content out, so I haven't really had a chance to plan it. But with any of the games that we're covering on Collateral Gaming, that I'm playing through, I think that I might as well record myself and do some Let's Plays, just playing fucking games that we're doing prep for, or just any other games that I happen to come across, anything I'm not doing on the podcast, and have a chance to kind of bring that up. Maybe new games that have come out that we haven't been able to do a game lunch review for. So stay tuned for more Let's Play content. One of these days I'll remember before I get on a game to just record myself doing it and upload something.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so we'll contribute to the Collateral Let's Play content as well. But I guess that's all we've got for now. So stick around for part 2 of our season premiere on the Doom franchise. Once again, welcome to season 7 of Collateral Gaming. We're calling this the Golden Season.
Welcome to the show, baby.
Not only have we covered Doom, which is, one of the most influential, if not the most influential video games of all time, but we're also going to be covering Ocarina of Time, which popularized the action-adventure genre, and Super Metroid. So
Hell yeah, Super Metroid.
It's going to be a great fucking season with a lot of bangers, and it's just getting started. But with all that being said, I've been Ashley Chancellor.
I've been the Doom guy.
And I've been your special guest, Robert Ortegon.
This is Collateral Gaming, and we are out.
Laters, y'all.
Collateral Gaming is a Collateral Media podcast. All music and game clips are owned by their respective creators and are used for educational purposes only. Please don't sue us. We're poor.